Hi, welcome to the Barney Chronicles, and more importantly, this 5-part series that I wish existed before I started my journey. Over the next few episodes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what I did to consistently lose weight using Mounjaro or Tirzepatide weight loss injections whilst having minimal side effects. I'm going to cover the tough reality check that got me started, the research and trial and error stage that followed, key steps that helped me stay on track, and of course, things I wish I had known before I ever picked up the quick pen that would have saved me a lot of time, money, and uncertainty. So whether you're on your own GLP-1 journey or thinking about starting, this series is here to give you honest, real-world insight and practical tips you can actually use. If you're new here, firstly, thank you for checking out the channel. My name's Scott. I'm 38 years old, 5'8", and at the start of my Mounjaro journey, around 3 months ago now, weighed just over 100 kilos or 220 pounds. I decided to document my journey for two reasons. One, I wanted to keep myself accountable, so I wanted to track my own journey, making sure I'm sticking to the things I set out at the very start. Secondly, if this channel helps anybody, even just one person, it's a bonus in my eyes. I'll be releasing one episode every week, as well as my weekly updates. I've also time-stamped all the videos, so you can skip to the parts you want to see. But without further ado, let's get into it. So let's start things off with why I started this journey. I've called it reality check because it really was. Like a lot of people on this medication, I've tried multiple dieting, loads of fad diets, be it keto, carnivore, intermittent fasting, calorie counting. Nothing seemed to work. It was always a case of sometimes, maybe losing some weight, but then putting it all straight back on and more. Not only was I yo-yo dieting, but I really struggled to stick to things because you're constantly hungry, constantly unhappy because you're not either eating the right foods or not eating at all with, fasting, etc. It's just so easy to fall off the wagon, which I did multiple times. Because of this constant yo-yo dieting, and either getting to a better weight or then putting it all back on and more, I really struggled with my mental health. I hated the way I looked. I didn't want to be in pictures. I hated in the morning looking in the mirror. It was really not a great place to be in. Not only that, as I've mentioned in previous videos, I really struggled with alcohol. So before starting this journey, I was drinking excessively. I tried things like dry January, tried to say to myself, in moderation, just have a bit, which never worked. I'd always drink to excess, and then if I went out on nights out, it's a case of once I started, I couldn't stop. And then that horrible kind of beer fear the next day, wondering what I'd said, to who I'd said it, and if I'd been an idiot the night before, which usually I had. As well as the failed diets, excessive alcohol consumption, mental health issues. I'm having a little boy in 6 or 7 weeks now. So at the start of this journey, one of the main things for me is I want to be a good dad. And so I don't want it to be a case that I'm either hungover or I'm in a position where I can't play with my child because I'm overweight or I'm not in the right headspace to look after him properly. So all of these factors kind of came together for this one reality check. Something needed to change. I tried the diets before, they didn't work, and this left me feeling worse. So what was I going to do? How I found out about Mounjaro. So I was on a night out with a couple of friends. One of my friend's brother was having a chat with me. He started talking about weight loss injections and the word Mounjaro came up. Up until then, I'd never heard of it. I've seen things online, celebrities taking Ozempic, etc. But didn't really understand it. Had a quick conversation with him, thought nothing more about it. The next morning, I woke up and it started to play on my mind a bit. I thought, I've tried a lot of things here which haven't worked. Is this an option? So I started looking into it and found a whole other world online of influencers, doctors, people talking about this drug, which I knew very, very little about. And this is when the research started. I very, very quickly went down the rabbit hole of watching people's videos, watching doctor videos, a whole host of things to try and just gain more insight. I hadn't made the decision at this point. I was still pretty much against it, if I'm honest, but started looking. The research phase, after falling down this rabbit hole relatively quickly, I spent a good 3 months researching into it. So firstly, making sure it was a viable route. You know, I know that with weight loss injections, if you're on certain medications or you've had certain illnesses previously, be it pancreatitis, thyroid issues, kidney, liver issues beforehand, you're not eligible for the medication. So the first thing was checking to see even if I could have it, if I wanted to. Not only that, I had a conversation with my GP. So I wanted to make sure that if I was going to do it, it was the right thing to do and get as much advice as physically possible. So anyone thinking of starting this journey, again, please don't take my word for it. I'm definitely not qualified. Have a chat with your GP. I know there is a bit of a stigma around it, which is unfortunate, but having that open, honest conversation with a real healthcare practitioner will be able to give you more clarity, more insights into potential side effects, rather than what Jane on TickTock tells you. I also wanted to set expectation for myself. So, you know, really understanding that it's possibly a long-term commitment. It's not going to be a quick fix. It's not a wonder drug. It's not a case of taking Mounjaro, that's it, you're skinny. You know, it's more, from what I found out, it's more a tool to help you get better with having a healthy relationship with food, with what you're eating, what you're putting in your body. And also, for me, a healthy relationship with alcohol. And it's going to be expensive. You know, if you look at 2.5 milligram quick pens, anywhere from £100 to £150 per month, which then goes up when you increase the milligram or increase the strength of the pen you're using. As I've said before, watching a lot of YouTube. So I wanted to get both sides of it. As I've said in previous videos, a lot of the doctor side I felt was quite fear-mongering, maybe as it wasn't as well known, I'm not too sure. I did find one doctor, had a really good insight into it. I'll leave her link in the description below. I have spoken about in a previous video, but because she's taken Mounjaro herself and is a healthcare professional, I think it's definitely worth checking out. And looking at creators, so people like me, you know, that are on their own journey. I thought it's all well and good listening to what doctors are telling you. You know, they are professionals, of course, but if they're not doing it themselves, I wanted to get more of an insight from people who are on the journey, you know, what they're finding from side effects or what they're doing nutrition-wise, how they're overcoming certain obstacles that are in their way. By watching these two conflicting sides, I got a really good understanding of what it is, what I could expect, and then from there make my decision. After my 3 months of research, going through multiple rabbit holes, looking at multiple things, I'd made the decision. I'm going to do it. Again, I needed something different. The old things weren't working, so I thought it's either continue on this path I'm on of obesity, alcoholism, bad habits, bad decisions, or take something, yes, with potential risks, but which was worse. In my eyes, the road I was on was going to be worse either way. I took the plunge. That's all for the first episode. If you've watched till the end, thank you. I really appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, or even tips from me, please don't hesitate. Put them in the comment section below. I usually reply to my comments within an hour. The next video will be up next week, and it's going to go through the process of getting Mounjaro and also talking about suppliers. So thank you again, and I'll see you on the next episode.